Welcome to the show and welcome to amazing guest speakers again. Today it's a little bit more on the male energy. So let me introduce, or why don't you introduce yourself? I have with me on the call Luca Allaria. Can you please tell us where you're from and what it is that you do?
Yes, so hello Natalie, hello everybody. As you can guess from my name, I come from Italy originally. I'm based in Switzerland, lived in different parts of the world though. And what I do, I'm a professional coach, a PCC from ICF, and I focus mainly in transition and leadership.
Luca Allaria from Italy, transition and leadership. Okay.
Yes.
What?
Based in Switzerland, yes.
Based in Switzerland right now, but from Italy. All
yes.
right. So what is it that you typically help your leaders with?
So I focus mainly on transitions. So everything that is related to change management, different situation, including new team members, handling diversity, and also looking at performances with teams.
Okay. Good. So what did you bring to the show today?
So today I wanted to share with all of you some letter of the alphabet, actually, that helps me, but also help my coachee to keep focus in this time of confinement, and also in times where the business is a little bit strange. Let's put it in this way.
I love that word, strange. Strange can be good strange or bad strange. It's just a little bit neutral.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is. It's strange. It's unusual. We don't like change. We talked about it yesterday, and that's what we're confronted with now.
Indeed.
All right. I like that. Alphabet from A to G.
The alphabet from A to G, exactly. And so the first letter is A, of course.
Okay.
And starts with awareness.
Luca, let's dive into that later.
Okay.
Okay. Can I ask Christian also, please, Christian Erhard, to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Christian Erhard. I work as a coach and consultant. I'm based in Switzerland. And I help my clients to go through phases or to master radical change. And I do that by working with either individuals, but also the teams and the whole organizations. And my focus here is on the human element, because I think in times of change, companies are very quick at coming up with an action plan, a roadmap, but kind of forget that every single person in the company, in the team, has to go through their very own journey of change. Mm-hmm. And I want to create a bit more awareness about that and what's helpful to go through those changes together.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Yes, that the human element it's easy to get lost a little bit in this confusion and chaos and strange times. Very interesting. All right, so we have alphabet A to G.
And I brought the 4-room model of change. It's not mine, but a model that I like for its simplicity. And I think it's very applicable to these times.
4-room model of change. Okay, wow, that's very interesting. Very keen to hear that. All right, let's welcome a couple of guests. We have Carolyn Groothoff. Welcome. I think you can probably speak Dutch with her, Luca. Anja Blodal again. Ciao, ragazzi. And Marlis Schmidt is also here. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you again. And again, please ask any questions that you might have. And let me put this in the chat as well. All right. And what I'm going to talk about, if we have time, I'm going to talk about this. This is a 50 franc note. And I have a very strange exercise I've never shared publicly, and I want to share this with you today about money. Might be helpful. It was very helpful to me. All right, so let's begin. Luca, would you please share your secrets about the alphabet with us?
Sure. So it's coming from a reflection during those strange times, as mentioned, and really with the focus on how I can help myself, but mainly support my coachee in those times and do and achieve what they want to achieve. Mm-hmm. And so reflecting, I said, what are the most important elements for me? And I see them working as well on others. So they came across as an alphabet. So starting with the A. So A is awareness, and is awareness of ourself, our feelings, our doubts, our strength, but also awareness of the situation and how this has an impact on our way of thinking and feeling all the time. And the second letter is B for balance. I found that keeping balance is critically important. Every time there is a big change, a big movement around us, and sometimes when we are not the actor of the change. So asking ourselves, how I can keep my balance, where I can find resources to be balanced. And one of the resources I found is C, being connection with others, connection with family, friends, connecting with the reality, but also be connect with ourselves.
Okay, let's pause here for a second. So we have A to C. Let's ask our audience, which one do you think is most important for you right now? A, B, or C? Let me rephrase. We had A for awareness, B for balance, and C for connection.
Yeah.
Which one is most important for you? Just type the letter in the comments as we continue. And somehow this is always auto-correcting me here. Can you see the chat, Luca and Christian, as well?
Yes, we can.
I can read it, but I cannot type in it.
Yeah, that's why I have two screens.
Okay.
Putting it on a different screen. All right, so A, B, or C. So Carolyn says it's connection for me. Very good, thank you. What about the rest of you? Marlis and Anya. Yes, and whoever else is watching, people watching right now. All right, let's continue. What's the D stand for, Luca?
D stands for a tool which is digital. Leveraging this function, this ability we have to be connected digitally, to be, really informed digitally. That I found it critically important.
Yeah, and especially now that we can't meet live anymore.
Exactly, and so it's really creating this connection and helping us maybe to find our balance and some awareness. And E is connected with energy, is my inner energy, and also the energy of the environment. So as you can see, speaking about energy, I have this painting behind me, which is called the Abrazo from Brito. It's the hug. I think it's where I find my energy from, is from people. So that's that's where the E's come from.
Okay, so we have D and E, and let's take one more letter until we look at our audience's responses.
Yes, and F is for actually two meanings for me. It's both rooted in my Italian origins. One is food and one is family. So
I love that. It's a double F.
It's a double F because food is important to eat well in this timing. We are at home very often with limited ability to walk and go around. So being aware of our body, we come back to A, but also eating and feeding our body correctly so that our energy level is high and our mental level is high. And family goes with connection and goes with resources, finding creative way to be connected with the family. Whatever definition of family we might have, can be our family, close friends, can be a mixture of both, but really the people that for us are family. And that's where a lot of resources and connection are coming from.
Okay, yes, super important. So before we move to the G, let's see what our audience thinks. So Marla says C, so connection for her. Anya thinks A is the most crucial, being aware. Yeah, 100%. Sheriff also says A. And what about you, Christian? Which one would you say would be the most important for you, A, B, or C?
For me, it's A, because I feel like awareness is kind of like in a pyramid, the bottom of this pyramid. Like with increased awareness, I can also become aware more about the connections that I'm having, right? And the balance that I need.
Very nice. Yeah, very good conclusion. Thank you. For me, it would be C. This year is the year to connect and to build relationships and to grow together. That's why also partially this initiative. So very interesting. All right. So Sheriff is already far ahead of us. He's already choosing the next letter. Okay, yeah, that would be my next question. Thank you, Sheriff. So out of E, what would we have? We have D for digital, E for energy, and F for food and family. Which is on your focus list? Corinne says a combination of A and B. Okay, good. That slide. You could choose two. Anya asks, can I say A, E, and F? They go together. All right, let's see. So A is awareness, energy, and family, or food. Which one is it for you? So this is a really nice. I love that. May I use this? May I use this for my coaches, Luca?
Yes, of course you can. Feel free to use that.
I'm gonna give you full credit.
Thank you. Also, because the last letter that I use is G, is really the last one, which is gratitude.
Ah, nice.
Say thank you and be having this feeling of gratitude for what we have, the people we have around, the opportunity we have to create new connection and new links despite the physical distance. Being present and while not being there, I think it's important, and it's a great sign of gratitude. So I personally say thank you every morning for something that happened or I see, coming up, and every evening as well. So I think it's a nice way.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. And I mean, gratitude is another way of focus again, because you're focusing on what you're grateful for rather than on all the stuff that you don't like so much right now. And that helps, again, to shift your focus. Super important. Gratitude is in all the big religions or cults or whatever, all around the world, you will find an element of gratitude. Thank you very much. So
You're welcome.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, let's see what our audience says. Okay. Marlis says from D, E, F, it's E. Okay, energy. Yes, energy. Everything is energy. And it's so interesting. Everything worthwhile requires energy. Carolyn says, energy of people around me and my own inner energy. I love the abbraccio picture. Is it abbraccio or abbraccio?
Abbraccio because the guy is Brazilian. So.
Oh, abbraccio is in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Okay, can you show it again?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I love that. Wow, that's really nice.
Okay.
He looks very friendly. Okay, and Marlis says G, 100%. All right, so now if you would have to pick only one, this is for our audience, out of A to G, which one would it be? Anya says, food seems simple, but it's crucial. Nourish the temple. Yeah, 100%. That's true. Very true. I saw a funny cartoon picture the other day that now we're allowed to go outside, but we can't fit through the door anymore. So that's probably not what you want. Okay.
I was going to say, since home confinement, food has risen in my priority list, and I'm not sure if it should be on the top anymore.
How about some chocolate cake without calories, Christian?
Well, actually, I started baking my own cake this week.
Really?
It was a very tasty cake, and now I've got a whole plate of cake just for myself.
Oh, invite the birds over. We had a brand by speaking event where Christian was a guest speaker. He talked about marketing, and he was taking as an example chocolate cake without calories. Everybody was interested in that. All right, let's move to Christian then. Can you share us your 4 rooms? Share with us your 4 rooms, please.
Yes. So it's called, let's imagine a house, and the house's name is the House of Change. And this house has 4 rooms. The first room is the room of contentment. The second one is the room of denial. The third room is the room of confusion. And the fourth room is the room of renewal. Now, as we live in this house, we start out in the room of contentment. Everything's pretty much fine. Nothing is out of the ordinary. Things are running smoothly. And a sentence you would often hear living in this room is, why change a system that's not broken? And then something happens. And, well, either because we just feel there's change necessary, or the change is done to us, like in this crisis, we're being kind of moved out of this room, first room, into the second room, the room of denial. And this room, a typical sentence is, well, yeah, I mean, there might be change, but this change doesn't apply to me. Or then the second reaction is, well, actually, I don't want this change. Let me get back to my room of contentment. And there's also a lot of energy and maybe even anger, and I'm pounding on the door to the room of contentment, but it's still locked and the door just doesn't open. It's a lot of energy in this room. Well, so eventually, because that room door to the first room is locked, we move into the third room, which is the room of confusion. And then what happens there is that we basically accept that there is no direct way back to the contentment, that we kind of have to let go of the past. We might even realize that the future is never going to be like the past.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of confusion, frustration, because there's nothing new yet, and maybe also a bit of sorrow, right? Because we have to let go of this past. So rather a lot of negative energy, and where people need a lot of support. But then as time passes and time heals all wounds, we move on to the fourth room, the room of renewal. And that's where we get back into action. And this is a phase of creativity where we feel comfortable to speak up and have ideas without fearing to be judged. And it's all about what can we do? How can we adapt? And eventually, right, if we have the right ideas, we get back to our new normal and the room of contentment.
Ah, nice. So let me ask you this. This house is designed in a way where one room only leads to the next one? And you can't crisscross. You can't go from denial to contentment and then back to renewal.
Well, for simplicity, it's in order. But if you reflect, it's a really good exercise for yourself, but also within the team to reflect on, well, which room am I in right now? And you will notice two things. One is that different people in the team are in different rooms at any given point in time. And also, when I do it for myself, I see, like, depending on the day and maybe even the time of the day, I might be in different rooms. Also in different rooms, depending on the context.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I like about this model is that it gives us an opportunity to reflect and assess, like, which room am I in right now? And what does that say about how I'm feeling right now? And also allows me to, well, deal with my emotions and acknowledge them in a better, more simple way, rather than, well, just feeling frustrated.
Okay. And room 4 will lead to room 1 again. So when you were renewed, then you're back in contentment.
Yes. Well, if you have the right renewal ideas, and that's how the idea is that the new creative solutions will lead to a new normal where we feel content.
So renewal can only lead to either contentment or confusion. That's a good point. Yes. And denial can only lead to either go back to contentment, say, like, well, just so be it, whatever it is, or confusion, because now what do I do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I gotta let this sit a little bit, but this is a very, very nice, and I love that exercise. Yeah, I encourage you, if you have a family of 4 or more, or even if it's less, try that exercise that Christian shared with us. Try to put your family members, explain it to them, and then ask them which room are you in right now. See what happens.
And when you're a manager, I think it's crucial to acknowledge that people in your team are in different rooms and therefore also need a different kind of support. Right? Someone who's in the room of confusion probably needs a little bit of guidance and cheerleading. Right? Someone who's in the room of denial, well, probably just needs a little bit of time to realize what the changes implicate.
Yeah, that's very true. And yesterday we talked, I think it was yesterday, about being a coach in your family. So coaching your family. So this will give you a good clue on where your clients are at. So if everybody's in confusion, that's probably not a good sign. Well, we have a question from Sherif to your model. It strongly reminds me of the 4 zones: comfort, fear, learning, and growth. What are your thoughts about this?
So I'm not familiar with this particular model, but yes, it sounds, so comfort is contentment. Well, fear, it could be denial, but I think it in denial doesn't always have to be fear, right? Because it could also be anger, right? It could simply be like, leave me alone with your change. Learning would probably be more in the renewal phase. Well, and fear is probably related to confusion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite similar. Right?
Yes, quite similar. I mean, confusion can lead to learning.
Yes.
when you're doing it right. Thank you, Sherry, for sharing that. Anya says, so do I understand correctly, once you were in renewal long enough, you get new ideas and you get into room 1 again?
If it's the right ideas and you succeed in implementing your ideas, yes. I think context matters, right? I see myself, depending of the situation I'm in, I might be in either one of those rooms, right? Despite the whole crisis, right, there's still areas in my life where I remained in room 1. Right? For example, this beautiful home office that I've been using for the last 1.5 years, I'm very content with it. I don't need to leave this room at all.
Okay. So that also goes for the different life areas.
Yes, exactly.
So you could be in denial with your love partner, but you can be in total contentment with your office.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Anya says, I like the line at the bottom of the video. Yeah, it's something I discovered recently. It's a really nice feature. Looks like a news show on TV. So those are the news of the day: contentment, denial, confusion, renewal. Okay, any other questions? Let's see what the audience had to say about the letters. So Anya says, out of all the letters, you would pick gratitude. Good choice. Very nice. Thank you. Carolyn says, hard to think energy as everything is energy. Yeah, 100%. I agree with all of you. Christian is the house of change. That was my comment. Marla says, see from that's why I'm here. Yes, connection. Exactly. I found that actually the connections are more deep and more kind of like intertwined and more on a different level than they used to be. I don't know what your thoughts are about this, Luca and Christian, in these times now. Are you also noticing this?
Yeah, I share the same feelings with you, Natalie. And I was reflecting why. And maybe it's because, work has slowed down. So we feel less in this running machine. So actually we have more time for people and to reconnect. And the other thing is linked maybe with technology, the fact that, before at least I had the excuse, I cannot go there. So it'll take too much time or traveling. And now it's just, let's do a video. Why not? So but I reckon what you said.
Okay, yeah, so you think it's technology and also because we have more time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Why do you think that is? Or did you experience that as well, Christian?
Well, I have to admit, I'm usually a bit of an introvert. So when I was really busy with work, I was pretty much at work in my bubble and then at home and too tired to speak with anyone. Mm-hmm. So since the crisis, and we are confined at home, I'm more connected to people and the world than ever. Also because I don't have to leave my home anymore. So, for example, we had a very nice virtual dinner with friends just last week, where we arranged a time, 6 p.m., cooked separately, had a glass of wine, the laptop on the table, and I was surprised. Obviously there is a difference, but it was very, very close to the real thing.
Yes, that's very, very
so I can only recommend virtual dinners with friends you haven't seen for a long time.
Virtual coffee, we had virtual drinks already, but no virtual dinner, so that's new. Okay, cool. Let's put that on the news feed, virtual dinner. What about you guys listening in? Why do you think we're coming together closer and having more deeper connections, if that's what you're experiencing in this time of crisis? Put it in the chat. And what I think that being in a kind of like a dangerous situation or a crisis together globally, this is, I can't recall any time before that we were also aware of this being the case. And this lets people grow together. So people are all of a sudden reaching out, supporting each other, whereas before it was more about, this isn't really making sense for my business, or should we do this? Or right now, it's not about money at all, or about making money or business or anything like that, but about connecting. And I think part of it is because we're in this crisis together. And this bonds us globally. We're all in the same mess. A little bit. I mean, some more than others. Of course, I don't want to discount that, but I think that's a reason. And that's an interesting thing that sometimes, these survival camps or like team exercises or team bonding exercises, you also put them in different difficult situations to let them bond together. And that's what's happening. Not by intention, but I think that's what's happening. All right. That's just my thought. So let's see what the audience says. Annie says we're becoming more present. Yes, 100%. Carolyn loves the virtual dinner. All right. It's a little bit inefficient, but it's very, very nice thought. I feel deeper connection too, Marla says, and I'm surprised that it's working with computer. Yeah. Virtual dance parties are fantastic. Everyone can wear their favorite hat and off you go. That's a nice one. Let me put that on the news. Virtual dance parties. All right. Carolyn says, you see people supporting each other everywhere. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm experiencing too. Aperitivo chat. Virtual aperitivo. All right. What else can you think of? People become more aware. What's important, says Corinne. Needs shifted from self-development success to more basic needs. Yes, 100%. I talked about the Maslow pyramid. So the pyramid of hierarchy of needs, we drop down a couple of layers. But it's interesting what happens when people do that and they're aware of it.
There's this saying, never let a good crisis go to waste. And what it means, two things. One is, well, there's always an opportunity in crisis. And there's, when we're faced with existential crisis, it has a very healing filter. It helps us to filter, distinguish the clutter from the stuff that's really important to us. And usually, well, that goes back to connections, relationships, helping each other out. Right. So my hope, if there's any positive going through this crisis, then my hope it is that as a whole, as a society, we realize what's really important.
Yes. And it's not about having the best car, the best house, the best nail polish, the best hairdo. It's all about what you do with people. Because when you think back of your best memories, I think they're all connected with other people. Your best memories are hardly ever about something that you experienced by yourself. Even if you're an introvert. Right? And what about you? Are you more an introvert or an extrovert?
Me? No, I am definitely an extrovert. So I get energy from people and hopefully I give energy. And building on what you said, Simon Sinek recently published a little speech on how leaders become real leaders only in the moment they decided to grow people instead of grow numbers. And that really goes in your line, Natalie, really this awareness of what is really important and is very commonly related to people and not related to other things, nail polish, cars, or whatever it might be.
Or material things.
Material things, correct.
Yes, very true. Thank you. All right, so we're almost out of time. So the strange exercise, I will share tomorrow about money. Because it somehow it doesn't fit in this context anymore. Stay tuned. We'll be live again tomorrow at 1:30. Let's end this round with a positive word of the day. And I'm going to put it on the news feed here. A positive word of the day. What would be your positive word? You can put it in the comments as well from the audience. I'll put it up here if you get there on time. What would be your word, Luca?
Would be gratitude. It's really say thank you to someone you love, someone it's dear to you.
Very good.
Fantastic. I love gratitude, and I will add on renewal. So we get back into our room of contentment eventually.
Yes, I love renewal. Anybody else from the audience? To grow people, not numbers. Love this. Marla says, okay, put a word of the day. What's your word of the day? Carolyn says love. Love it. Anything else? So for me, I mean, I would say connection, but I said that the last week already. So let me think of something new. Anya says breathing. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Breathing. Yeah. If we stop breathing, then it's not a good sign. So for me, it would be teamwork. Teamwork. Because it's so interesting that, especially when you're a coach and consultant, typically you start on your own. But on your own and you do everything yourself. I don't know. Have you started on your own too, Luca, or are you still pretty much Christian?
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to start on my own.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, good. Yes, and then you're a little bit advanced.
But it was not on my doing. Fortunately, I had friends who asked me to join them right at the beginning, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Okay, very good. So you're in a fortunate position. But most of us are starting on our own. But what gets you a little bit ahead on your own doesn't get you any further. So then you need to look out for other strategies to work with other people, because it's just an end to what you can do by yourself. All right, we have Abrazzo from Marlis. We have Corinne, self-power. Very nice. All right. This is a nice news feed. I would love to see that on the news feed. One of the shows, Kyle Bullis shared with us the Good News Network. That's something, but you can find it. That's really nice. You can register for their newsletter, and they send you emails with positive news. It's amazing. So this is a little bit like the Good News Network, all those positive words. So thank you very much for being here, Luca and Christian, and for sharing so generously again. And thank you for engaging with us. Caroline, Anya, Marlis, Sharif, who else was here? Annie, and a bunch of other people. Thank you very much for engaging with us, because you guys make this show more interesting. And I'll see you again tomorrow, 1:30. Stay tuned for the money exercise. And you also find us on YouTube. And yeah.
Thank you for having us, Natalie.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy your day.
Yes. Bye-bye, everybody.